Good morning, small players. Welcome to our morning stream where we go over our pre-market scanner, which scans for gappers, which are stocks that are set out to open higher than the closing price of the previous day and have increased relative volume, which means that today there's more shares being traded than the average number of shares being traded any given day. And this is important because this shows us that there's more interest in these stocks today, and we know that there's going to be traders looking at them and trading them, so that the setups that we're trying to find on them are going to be observed by multiple traders, because at the end of the day, you guys know we talk about this often, technical analysis is really a self-fulfilling prophecy. It only works because traders think it works. And if traders think that if a stock hits a certain price, it's going to go up, they're going to buy it, and the price is going to go up. And on the flip side of that, if they think that if it hits a certain price, it's going to drop, they're going to sell to avoid it, and it is going to drop because everyone sells, right? So that's really what it is. And what we do in these streams is we go over each one of the stocks on our scanner to identify support and resistance levels, which are going to be used for trades all day long. And we always trade bounces or breakouts on these levels. And as we do the charting, we can talk about it a little more. I'm just gonna I want to start with a pretty chart. The scanner is busy this morning, but not a lot of pretty charts outside of our favorite HX. I have to say I am very happy about this stock once again. If you guys watched if you guys watched the stream 2 days ago, we talked about how it was the first time it showed up on the scanner in months, but months and months and months. And we can look at the yearly chart to see when is the last time we traded this thing. Maybe here, yeah. So what is that? August. Maybe I have a memory from a few years ago, not a few months ago. But anyway, when we did the stream, we saw HX on the scanner, and it was inconspicuous that day. It was lower on the list in terms of volume, but I was like, oh my God, I remember this stock. I remember it being really explosive in the past. I remember it halting and whatnot, and I really, am excited to trade it. I traded it that day. It was very funny. I actually went over it yesterday because it didn't really have any explosive moves on Bell, so it was a little annoying because I was 100% focused on that one because I knew it was a mover in the past, and I assumed a lot of traders will remember it and jump on it. And it really didn't do anything until later in the afternoon. Yesterday, sort of the same thing, but yesterday we knew from the previous day that that's apparently how it starts. It starts slow and easy, and then it picks up later in the day. So yesterday we were ready to be more aggressive in the afternoon on it. Normally I'm not aggressive on afternoon moves, but after, it showed what it did the day before, we were like, okay, we're ready for this. And we were trading it all up until Bell. So it's back, on the Gapper scanner this morning because it's moving once again. We're going to chart out the key levels on it. And basically, an important thing to note is that these levels trigger trades when we have a bounce or a breakout on them. And why this is important, and we talk about, if you guys should really, if you're new and if you're trying to learn just by watching these, it's hard. You should really get the course. But if you are insisting on learning by yourself, you should watch all of them, because in each one I talk about different learning points. So a trigger is a bounce or a breakout, right? So for example, on this stock, we have, these are the key levels that we're watching, right? So 24, 21, 22.1, and 21.15, let's say, right? So we're watching these levels to trigger a trade either for a bounce or a breakout. What does that mean? So if the stock drops here, we don't instantly buy when it touches it. We need a bounce, right? And I talk about this every morning, but I will repeat it again because yesterday there was someone that didn't understand the trade plan again, so I want to clarify. So a bounce means it drops to this level, gets buyers and rejects lower prices and goes up. So you don't try to buy at the absolute lowest point. Trading is about buying in the safest spot that you can spend the least amount of time in the trade and have the highest probability of making it out alive, right? So It drops there, you wait for buyers to come in. You're not the first buyer. You wait for buyers to come in. If they do, you see increased volume, you see it rejecting lower prices. I think on the stream yesterday, we actually saw it happen in real life when the screen flashed green and you could see buyers coming in and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna jump in. But if it just touches it and there's no buyers coming in there, you have no business being the first buyer. Just let it live alone. Wait for the next level. See if it finds buyers here. See if it finds buyers on WeWap. See if it finds buyers here. You're not trying to be the first one to buy it, right? And then the other thing is we never, buy on the way down. And this is something that some people will just say, oh, this is an important level. I'm going to set a buy there. And then what happens when the stock touches it, there's no buyers that come in. Short sellers destroy it. It flushes down. And people are like, okay, I bought. And I'm like, what did you buy? What was your trigger, right? It's not, there's no trigger if the stock just slices through a level. Okay, so very important. This one had actually a very nice 5-minute flag not that long ago. We know we love those setups. So I'm going to just, mark that as a reminder to keep an eye on the next one. It is forming another one. So I would love to see either a bounce on this level, a bounce on WeWap, or break about this flag for an entry for HX. It's going to be my main focus today as well. We actually should check on BAMSEC if there is an active registration for a secondary offering, just because we've been trading the stock in the afternoon, and you guys know secondary offerings, I really never see them in the first hour of the morning. So between 9:30 and 10:30 is normally safer. That's why I'm the most aggressive. That's one of the reasons I'm the most aggressive during the time. And then as the day goes, there's more and more possibility of a secondary offering being dropped, especially if it's not a first day runner. Is hard. It's not that it doesn't happen. I have seen it happen before. It's a little harder. The company needs some time to scramble and put it together. Second day, this is already a third day runner. It's definitely possible, and I'm actually just checking on my phone on BAMSEG. They do have an active registration, so they could drop a secondary offering. So something to note. So as the day goes by, we're safe for those. Normally, the market's unpredictable, so you never know. Based on past data, I'm not very nervous about that at this time in the pre-market session and in the first morning of the bell. After that point, sort of all bets are off. To be completely transparent with you, though, maybe even at 9 a.m. they could hold it for a secondary offering because it's the third day. So they've had time to put it together if they wanted to. Just something to keep an eye out, because you just have to be aware of these risks as a trader, because that tells you what kind of position size you should use. I never avoid them, because the majority of the stocks that we trade are going to have shelf registrations, and they are very risky, and just the nature of the stocks that we trade. Here it is touching that level. And so it's not like we're going to avoid them, but we're aware of the risk. So we're going to say, okay, after 10:30, I'm going to just reduce my position size. I don't care how parabolically it moves. I don't want to get stuck into a midday offering. And you guys, if you have ever done that, you will know why it's so terrifying. If you haven't, it's great if you can learn from other people's mistakes. Some people can't. Some people are going to just need to be stuck in one once to learn. So anyway, so that's that. It's finding some buyers there. There's still a little bit of a spread. The volume's a little light on it at this specific time. So it might not really, it might need to touch a stronger support like WeWap, but definitely, my main interest for the day, HX. Then this one, I never trade these. I sort of ignore them when they have this like very sharp move from, algorithmic buying when the news get dropped, and then they have no range. So most of them, again, they have a sharp move and then they have a lot of range. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of levels. These ones, we should come up with a name for them, because we never even chart them in the morning. I just ignore them. This chart, there's nothing to work with there. Maybe if it breaks about 9.4, maybe we can look at it. I'm going to just mark that level because it's a top volume mover for the day, but I'm just not interested in those charts. This one seemed to have, gapped up, but now it's like going into oblivion. We can still chart it out because it's above WeWap now, and there's plenty of room for it to move. So let's just try and see where short sellers started destroying it, so we can see where they can really start squeezing, because it doesn't seem like they squeezed too much above WeWap. Also, what I want to see is what the float is on this, because the float is too high. It's not, not going to help me much. even if it breaks above a key level. So let's see what the float is on this because I don't remember the stock. Let me check our little bot in the chat room real quick. DWAC. DWAC. $28 million. Okay, that's good. We like 28 million. So 1 minute chart looks pretty also, making 1 minute flags. We can trade either one of those. I like that. So, it seems like looking at the candles, this was the key level. Once it broke below it, that's where short sellers started destroying it. So I'm going to do, I'm just going to do break above 14 for the squeeze. Create an alert. So if it does break above 14, I would expect to see a short squeeze. Before that, we could trade any of these 1 minute flags because I like them. There's plenty of volume. There's nice resolution on them. It's above VWAP. We have good risk reward to even like the first very strong resistance. Even break above that could cause the mini squeeze that can then help it push here. And then the next, if it does get here, I would expect a massive squeeze. It's a low floor. It's going to be easy for it to move. But we could have plenty of opportunities to catch the move even beforehand. So I'm going to look at the 1 minute chart here. Even the EMA 20 bounces on the 1 minute chart. We like those. We like the flags. Okay, cool. Excited about that one also. This one we've been trading a lot in the past couple of months. It's just been popping on scanner. This is a very clear level, right? There's like a lot of rejections there at 143, but then there's some here at 144 too. So I hate it when they start doing that. Like, look, it has a wall literally on every cent. So that's very hard to trade because it's very choppy. So not too interested in it. But we'll see. Maybe if it breaks above high of day, then it starts moving a little easier. But right now with these resistance on every cent, it's just too hard of a trade. This is a key level. Well, actually, let's touch more candles. Ooh, we like this one. This one's been showing up on scanner a lot, so we know traders are going to watch it. Volume's still a little light for the day, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure it'll pick up. EMA 20, actually EMA 20 bounce is not bad because we see that it respects EMA as support. It's currently trying to find bottom there, so this is not a good, this is not a bad trade entry. The problem is because EMA 20 is ascending, when you take that entry here to VWAP, you have a 4% trade, so you can catch about a 3% move. This second one is a little lower, still enough of a range. The problem is, as it keeps ascending, it gets closer and closer to VWAP. So now you have from here to VWAP, you have not even a 2% move. That's very hard to trade such a small range. It's not impossible. We trade it, especially if it's during market hours, because you have a tight stop. You have an actual stop loss, so it's a little easier to maneuver. Right now, it could be a little harder there. It's a little too close to give you a safe range, and it has a 5-cent spread. So you already have a small range and you have a spread. So this would be a very nice trade, but if you've caught it earlier when there's a little more of a room, and if there's no spreads, it's like market hours. So right now, because of that, I'll probably just wait for break above VWAP on this one to take a trade. If it didn't have a spread, I would consider just, taking it here now to try and ride it to VWAP, take partial profit, and then if it breaks above VWAP, continue going. But with the spread, see now it's closing. The problem is, when it picks up a little more volume, it's going to close. And then when the volume slows down, it's going to open up again. So it's going to be a harder trade at this particular time, but definitely a stock to watch today. I'm excited about that one. these are lower volume for the day. I mean, this one I'm gonna add it on the watch list because it's another name the traders recognize, so they're probably gonna react to it when they see it. Too early to trade it right now. There's no volume, but on the watch list for today. So, okay, so that's what we have. We have these four are my main focus as of right now. The scanner is going to continue to pick up stocks that fulfill our criteria in the pre-market session. And then once the bell rings, we have a market hours momentum scanner that will pick up stocks that grab momentum on the bell and then on. So we do this all day long, literally just chart out our levels and determine entries and exits based on these levels. And that's it. Be sure to join our chat room if you want to trade with us live. Happy trading. I see you guys tomorrow.